Hello student, have a good day to all of you. Today I want to say you something about the recent topic, that is coronavirus. As students, please don't worry about a thing. Every little things is gonna be alright, because one day when you will look back and realize what you worried too much about the things that does not really matter. I am not saying that you don't worry about the coronavirus, or I am not saying that coronavirus is not a big matter, but I want to raise your strength to fight against it. So don't worry, all is well. Everything will be gonna all right. So now comes to our topic, that is chemical bonding. In the last class that we have discussed about the different bond parameters. So we already discussed about the bond length, bond angle, bond enthalpy, and also the bond order. So today we will discuss about the resonance and polarity of bonds. So now comes to the resonance. So resonance. For most of the covalent molecules, there is a unique single electron in the form of dot, or you can say in the Lewis structure, that can be applicable to explain the known properties of that particular substance. However, in some cases, or you can say for in some certain compounds, more than one structure that can be retained, but none of them is able to explain all the properties of that compound, or you can say of that particular compound. For examples, here I am giving an examples of NO3 minus. Here I am drawing the different structure, or you can say the different Lewis structures, in which the total number of valence electrons is 24. If I am giving the number for this oxygen atom, first one, for the first structure, if this oxygen is O1 and this oxygen is O2 and this oxygen is O3, then in the first rejoining structures it contains double bond, but in the second rejoining structure, or you can say in the Lewis structures, it contains only the single bonds. Now the bond angle, the bond length is differ from one structure to another structures. If we will compare the second oxygen from the second structure and the second oxygen from third structure, then there is also a difference in the valence electron, in the lone pair of electron, and also in the bond length, because as you know, the single bonds contains large bond length as compared to the double bond. So here there are many different properties that can be known from the rejoining structure, but more than one structure can be drawn, but none of them is able to explain all the properties. That means these three structures cannot be explained all the properties, that means for a particular molecules. If I am taking these molecules, then for all the structures cannot explain about the NO3 minus molecules properties. So we have to follow the rejoining structures for the different properties. So in such cases where more than one structure can be retained for a compound, but none of them is able to explain the known properties of the compound, completely. So the different structure retained are known as the rejoining structure, or you can say the contributing structure. Mainly the phenomena in which the rejoining structure can be explained is known as resonance. Here I want to give an examples of ozone molecules to explain the resonating structure or the resonance. Now we can write two electron dot structure for the O3 molecule. Here I am drawing the two resonating two different structure, this one, this and this, the first one and the second one. Mainly in this structure, each oxygen atom has an octet of electrons. Every atom contain 8 electrons in its to follows the octet rules, and each structure depicts one oxygen double bond oxygen. Here this one is also contain oxygen double bond oxygen, and this one is also contain oxygen double bond oxygen, and also one oxygen single bond oxygen, this one, or you can say this one. Both the structure contains oxygen double bond oxygen and oxygen single bond oxygen. Since double bonds are shorter in length, as you know, as compared to the single bond, so the bond length in O3 molecule should be different. However, it has been found in case of experimentally that the two bond lengths are equal, that is one is 1.28 Armstrong, that is known as the 128 picometer, or you can say the bond length is immediately between the oxygen the oxygen single bond oxygen is immediately converted to oxygen double bond oxygen, which has the bond length 1.21 Armstrong. Thus none of the above, मतलब ये दोनों ही स्ट्रक्चर से रिप्रेजेंट द एक्चुअल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द मॉलिक्यूल्स, मतलब दोनों ही स्ट्रक्चर एक ऐसे स्ट्रक्चर को रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे जहाँ पर कि इन दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन होगा. इन सच केसेस where more than one structure can be retained for a compound, but none of them is able to explain the known properties. So that's why the O3 molecules will shows its two resonating structure, whereas the third one that I am showing in the lower part, this one is the combinations of these two, because the partial bond is immediately changes from one side to another side. So here I am showing the dotted lines. Now the question is why this is important, क्यों हम लोग ये पढ़ रहे हैं, इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन का क्या ज़रूरत है रिजोनेटिंग स्ट्रक्चर का. बच्चों, दिस वन इज़ वेरी नीडेड फॉर रिजोनेंस कंसेप्ट, बिकॉज द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ many molecules cannot be explained on the basis of one single Lewis structure. So the resonating structure, you can say the contributing structure, can be explained the different the properties, the different properties of a particular compounds. Now comes to the second or you can say the last one, bond parameters. That is the polarity of bonds. Mainly there are two types of bonds that can be explained the polarity of a covalent molecules in which the covalent bond will be present. So the first one is polar covalent bond and the second one is non-polar covalent bond. Before going to the polar and non-polar covalent bond, first we have to remember that covalent bond. The covalent bond will be formed by the mutual sharing of electrons. Okay. Now the polar covalent bond is also a type of covalent bond in which the electrons are shared between the atoms, in which the electrons are shared unequally. Means the electrons which are combines to form a bond, if that bond will be break down, then the electrons must be shared unequally. How it will be unequally? If one has an electronegative element, then that has the capacity to attract the electrons towards the itself, and it will be create the partially negative charge, and the other atoms gain a partially positive charge. In that case, the polar covalent bond will be chosen. If I will give an examples of polar covalent bond, then the best example is water molecules, in which the oxygen has the in which the oxygen contain the partially negative charge, while the two hydrogen atoms gain a partially positive charge. If you want to give another examples, then all the hydrides of halogen, that is HCl, HF, that are also shows the polar covalent bond, in which one has the one element, or you can say the atom, has the tendency to attract the electrons towards itself, and the electrons are shared unequally. That means if I am giving examples of HCl, in which chlorine has the tendency to withdraw the electrons towards itself, and it will be formed Cl minus. So in that case, the hydrogen will be remain as positive, that is the H plus, that doesn't have any electrons in its outer shell, because the chlorine will already attracts the electrons pair towards itself. That means the bond, when the bond will be break down, then the electrons will be shared unequally. But the bond will be formed by the equal sharing. That means the mutual sharing, the bond will be formed. But when the bonds will be break down, or you can say when the when any atoms or elements containing the electronegativity properties, then they have the tendency to withdraw that electrons towards itself. So in that case, a partially negative and partially positive charge will be created between the two atoms, and it will be shows the polar covalent bond. If we are saying the second one, that is the non-polar covalent bond, in that case, this one is also a one type of covalent bond, in which the electrons are shared between the atom, but in which the electrons are shared equally, so that there will be no charge separation. But in case of polar covalent bond, due to creating the partially positive and partially negative charge, there is a charge separation. So that's why they are polar. But in case of non-polar, the electrons are shared equally. So that's why there will be no charge separation between the atoms. I want to give an examples of methane, in which the carbon contain the central atom, and the 4 hydrogen atoms will be present on the surrounding of carbon atoms, and they have all formed by the mutual sharing of one electrons, and they are formed by the equal sharing, or the formed by the mutual sharing, or you can say equal sharing. So that's why there will be no charge separation when there will be breakdowns. So they are non-polar molecules, or they are non-polar covalent bond mainly, because we are discussing here about the covalent molecules. So the covalent bond may be present, but somehow it will be polar, and somehow it will be non-polar covalent bonds. Now comes to the topic, that is dipole moment. Dipole moment is the product of the magnitude of the charge and the distance between the center of positive and negative charge. If we will symbolize the dipole moment as mu, then mu is equals to charge into the distance, because here I am saying about the product means the into, or you can say the multiple. Here I am multiplying the charge, that is q, and the distance between the center of positive and negative charge. That means the distance of separation between the cation and the anion, that is, if I will symbolize it r distance and charge for q, then the value for dipole moment, if I symbolize dipole moment as mu, then mu is equals to q into r, where q is the charge and r is the distance. now here a very important thing is the unit of dipole moment is dV unit, which will be designated as capital D, as we are discussed. Now here one symbol that is given on the on your screen, that is arrow, where the arrow in one side the arrow will be in the head part, and the tail part will be given as cross. Okay. Now the crossed arrow is represent the dipole moment. Now what are the symbolization for this cross and the arrow head part? Mainly that head part will be shows towards the negative end of the molecule, or you can say the cross part, this one will be symbolized or will represent the positive end. As in the before we will discuss about the polar covalent bond, in which one molecules contain partially positive charge and another molecules will be contain the partially negative charge due to the charge separations. So here in case of water molecules, oxygen contains partially negative charge, so the arrow will be moved towards hydrogen to oxygen, symbolizing the partially negative charge. The head is be the negative end, and the crust one, this one is actually the crust one, will be symbolize the positive end. In this way the arrow will be symbolizes for the direction of the shifting of electron density in the molecules. Now comes to the polyatomic molecules. How the dipole moment will be calculated in case of polyatomic molecules? Sorry, before going to the polyatomic molecules, I want to give an example of simple molecules. What is the D value, and for all of this. Now comes to the water molecules. Okay. Now for the water molecules, how the mu or the dipole moment will be calculated, first discuss, then we will go to the another molecules. Um, in case of water molecules, which has the bent like structure, okay, in which the two oxygen and hydrogen bonds will be formed, this one and this one, in which the bond angle, as we are already discussed, that is 104.5 degree. So the net dipole moment that is counted from the charge and the distance between the two nucleus, that is the 1.8 dV. So the dV or the D value 1D is equals to 3.33564 into 10 to the power minus 30 centimeter cm. That is already calculated. So this one is numerical part. 1 dV is already constant number. So the net dipole moment that is calculated is 1.85 dV. If we multiply the 1.85 into the 3.33564 into 10 to the power minus 3 centimeter, then the answer will be 6.17 into 10 to the power minus 30 centimeter. Okay. So these are the calculations that are already contains in our books, NCERT books, that is already given. So I will show you that in your notes copy. Then that now here I want to give a very important trick, that is, if any molecule has some dipole moment or has some mu value, then that molecule is polar molecule. It is a very important point. You have to point out this one. If any molecule have dipole moment, that molecules is polar molecule. Okay. Now given examples of non-polar molecules, how it will be non-polar. If any molecule or compound contain dipole moment is equals to 0, then that molecule is called the non-polar molecules. Here I also want to give an examples of non-polar, or where the mu is equals to 0, this one. BeF2, beryllium difluoride, in which the bond dipole in BeF2 is given in your screen, in which the distance between one fluorine to another fluorine is completely 180 degree. That means they have the total means they have the equal distance from the center beryllium to fluorine. Here the bond movement is 0. Why it will be 0? Because the two bond dipoles pointed in opposite directions, they are in as you know, they are in vector quantities, and they cancels the effect of each other due to the equal distance or equal bond dipoles. So in that case, the distance, that is r, is 0. So that's why when as you know, something will be multiplied 0, then that will be 0. So because of the net equal distance or equal bond dipoles due to the opposite directions, so here the r is equals to 0 and the mu is equals to 0. So the any molecules which contain the dipole moment is 0 is equals to the nonpolar molecules. Okay. Here another examples, if you want to give another examples in which the dipole moment is 0, or you can say the nonpolar molecules, then then you can also find out the molecules of methane, CH4, that also the dipole moment 0, or CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, that molecules is of dipole moment 0, because that four bonds are opposite to each other, in which the directions will be opposite to each other, and the net distance will be cancel each other. So that's why that is also mu is equals to 0. So these have the some examples of dipole moments in which mu may be any numbers or mu is equals to also. So next I want to give an examples, a very important topic in which the dipole moment of ammonia is higher as compared to the resultant dipole moment of nitrogen trifluoride. Why this will be just like this one? So here in case of ammonia, between the nitrogen and hydrogen, nitrogen has higher electronegativity as compared to hydrogen, in which the arrow mark is given towards the nitrogen atom, this one, and also the nitrogen contain one lone pair of electrons. So this one is designated as this here the resultant, or you can say the bond dipoles in which the direction will be shows the upward. But in case of NF3 or nitrogen trifluoride, between the nitrogen and fluorine, here first we will discuss about ammonia, then we will goes to that one. So in case of ammonia, the nitrogen, the arrow, or the you can say the resultant dipole is towards upper, in which one lone pair is also present. So all the electrons are shifted towards the nitrogen, and nitrogen is also contain one lone pair of electron. So here the resultant dipole, so bond dipole will be create somehow, that is given in your screen, that is mu is equals to 1.46 d. Here you have to multiply the d value. Okay. So here they have not 0, the three bonds that will be shows they have not the 0, because here some distance will be covered from the nitrogen towards the upper part as compared to the nitrogen and hydrogen. So here somehow the bond, the dipole moment will be create. But in case of NF3, the dipole moment is also present in the nitrogen atoms towards the upward. But if we compare between the nitrogen and fluorine, fluorine has a higher electronegativity, and it has the tendency to draw its electrons towards itself. So that's why it attract the electron pair towards itself to so here the arrow is given towards the fluorine atom from electrons to from nitrogen to fluorine atoms. So these four designated, so these three will be designated as towards the fluorine atom. And if we calculate the resultant dipole moment for the lone pair from nitrogen to lone pair and nitrogen to fluorine, there is some distance lesser as compared to the ammonia, because here all the moves towards the upper side. So nitrogen is also attract the electrons from hydrogen, and it also has the lone pair of electrons. So the resultant will be moves towards the upper, and it will be create some distance. But in case of NF3, the nitrogen lone pair will be repel from upward, upward, where the NF fluorine is attracting the electron towards itself. So there is an opposite direction of bond dipole points. So that's why there is some bond length will be cancelled to each other, and the bond dipoles will be how much shorter as compared to the ammonia. And here I am writing the resultant dipole moment, that is the 0.24. If you calculate, if you want to calculate the actual value, then you have to multiply that d value. In this way the dipole moment can be calculated. So thank you. In the next class we will learn about the Fajans rule and also the VSP. So till then.